So today we are talking about three main things. I think actually we might only get through the first two, but I'm going to say it anyways, just as in case we do get through it. So we're going to be talking about pricing confusion. We are going to be talking about offer overload. I love a little alliteration. So offer overload. And then the part I'm not quite sure that we're going to get through today is the messaging mismatch. So I did mention that yesterday, but we'll see how far we get because I do want to leave time for Q&A and workshop time. So all of these things are what I like to call the quiet leaks because they are often invisible in our business and often things that are easy to just push out of our brains and push out of our line of sight, if you will, and to just be like, it's fine. So we're gonna face those head on, and we're gonna plug those holes. And pardon if I for any ship references and metaphors that I may make throughout throughout the non-presentation. No presentation today. I didn't feel like it was very helpful yesterday. So I felt like let's just do us. Why put something between us? Okay, so yesterday we took a look at where our money is actually coming from. And today we're going to look at what makes what what is it that makes us making money harder? Say that 10 times fast. It's rarely really dramatic mistakes. It is rarely these big things. Like I said, they're the quiet leaks. They're subtle mismatches, if you will. Oh my God, my dog is so snuggly right now. I'm so sorry. But ship metaphor number one, leaks don't crash the ship. They just keep you tired. So, what is it when I'm talking about leaks? A leak is any kind of friction between what you're, I don't know if it's interested in, but it's like it's what's the thing that you feel called to do and what's definitely the gap between the interest in your client or customer, however you phrase that is totally fine, and them paying you. So that's where usually the friction is the path to purchase, if you will. And it's not usually lack of effort on your part, more efforting. More is not more in this case, in a lot of cases. Um, but it's there's like some sort of friction, and that's where I want us to figure out where that friction is and smooth it out. So examples of this is that someone has metaphorically raised their hand and said that they're interested in anything that you provide. So whether it's a service product, course, coaching, um, consulting, any of that. But then there's hesitation on their part at any part of the buyer's journey. And then sometimes people are a good fit, but for some reason they stall, like not right now. I'm thinking about it. Um, Come back to me in a couple months, that kind of a thing. I'm trying to think of things that I've heard countless times over the past 14 plus years. And then sometimes people want to move forward, but for some reason they have given you some sort of signal that something feels complicated. I actually would prefer that if you run into that, that's often the easiest to figure out because they people will often voice that most readily. And then you can kind of troubleshoot the complications and smooth it out. But hopefully this is resonating so far, at least parts of it. I hope all of it is not. It doesn't feel like you have a problem with every piece of that. If you do, that's okay. Come talk to me. We'll have a sidebar. We'll triage. But the first thing I want to talk about is that pricing confusion. So a lot of times that can look like not being able to explain your pricing without feeling defensive. A lot of times we can feel anxious around what we're charging. I know I used to feel that way. Sometimes it's like, like right before you say the number, like it's gonna be $5,000. I mean, there's this like weird pause before that. Quick like tangent tip. to your like if you need to practice with that, like let's find an accountability buddy. I like that. That we can. Oh, sorry, dog. I just kicked my dog. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Very lightly. I just went across my legs and he was sitting right there. I didn't know he was there. Um, you can have like role play with an accountability buddy and practice your saying your pricing. So especially when you're on any sort of like Zoom presentation and you get to, let's say you do have slides and you're going through some sort of like slide deck or something like that. Or even if you're on a webinar and at the end we get to the, or the middle, wherever you decide to put it, you get to the money slide. Don't pause. Just go to the next slide right away and just go into it. Be smooth. So anyways, so that's very tactical tip for you. But it can also confuse, pricing confusion can also look like adjusting your price based off the vibe that you feel like you're getting. And that can often happen because you and client may have different communication styles. You may have different buying styles and buying needs. Some people want a boat reference, boatload of information before they make a purchase and to make like a really informed decision. Some people would buy off vibes. Some people are like, yeah, you're cool, I'm cool, let's do this. This is amazing. I love what you are offering. You're speaking my language. Let's go. And there's like everything in between that too. And so sometimes we could perceive how that other person's communication style is incorrectly and might be reading the signs of like, oh, this person keeps asking questions. They're like not sure about what it is I'm offering. That could just be them trying to do the diligence that their brain needs in order to make a purchase and make it feel okay. That doesn't mean you need to lower the price. Your price is your price. Let me underscore that throughout all of this. Your price is whatever it is. And if people want to negotiate on the price, we can talk about that. That's a whole different thing. But if they want to negotiate, that's actually a good thing. That means that in a lot of cases, that means that like uh, you're not undercharging usually. Um, again, patterns. Sorry, I'm going a little too far down that path. Stick to my notes. Also, if you have too many options, it can blur together. I love using the example of the toothpaste aisle in a grocery store. Have you been in the toothpaste aisle recently? Have you actually like looked at the wall of like holographic foil that is everywhere on these packages? Um, there was this okay, this is I was in college. I don't know if you're familiar with the grocery store chain, the Jewels, as we call it here in Chicago. It's really just Jewel. It's like Kroger or Albertsons. Um, no, silent phone. And this is before Instacart. Yeah, but they had this thing called Peapod, and there was a Peapod guy that was doing the shopping for somebody. Um, and he's in his little green smock, and I'm in the aisle, and I'm staring at toothpaste, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever paid attention to this aisle before. I had no idea that there was such a plethora of options, and I'm standing there staring. He, we caught eyes, and he was cute, so he caught my attention, and so, but he goes off, and he continues doing his job. He's shopping on behalf of someone, and he comes back to that aisle. He's like, are you okay? You're still here. And I was like, there's so many options. And I was in school for graphic design at the time. And so then I got like nerdy about it. And I was like, oh, look at all the packages. I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. So I started getting like nerdy about it and scientific and artsy at the same time about it. But then I was just like, so much foil. Anyways, um, and I really did need toothpaste though. And so I just had completely, long story short, I had decision fatigue. I could not make a choice. I was like, what is the difference in all of these? Do I get like the baking soda? Do I get the extra fluoride? Do I get no fluoride? Do I get, whatever, whitening, extra whitening? Like, I don't know what I walked away with. I couldn't tell you. But anyways, um, I think about that a lot, especially when um I'm in the grocery store, but then more especially when I'm thinking about the different options that I'm giving someone when they're going to like put myself in their shoes. I'm like, okay, I'm looking at a sales page. How many options am I giving somebody to choose? Like, you don't want to have like 10 tiers to a service or a product. You want like usually three. There are exceptions to everything, of course. One, two, or three. Three is great when it's like a product or info product, and you usually like price it so that the middle one is the one you actually want people to buy because the third one is usually too high and the first one is usually too low, and it's just right, just like Goldilocks in the middle. So, a little pricing psychology for you. But yeah, so the all that's to say is that sometimes a lot of multiple options they just blur, and then you embarrass yourself in front of a cute boy, and we don't need that. So, the other thing that can lead to pricing confusion is, or can signal that you have pricing confusion, is when you feel relief when a potential client or customer doesn't ask you the cost. That's like, whoo, we avoided that situation altogether. That is a huge signal that like, okay, we got to talk about your pricing. Um, because we don't get to pay our mortgages and our rent if we don't ask for money and if we don't get paid. And so we are businesses, not charities. And we're here to do a job and they're here to get a solution. And that's it. It is an exchange of funds. And so if they're not asking, they're either they're confused about something, they're unsure about like the ability. There's something along what's known as like building the belief ladder. There's something in those rungs that is not getting built properly. And that's a good clue to like look at like how are we telling our story? How are we creating our offers so that it's very clear what the transformation is? And so we'll get into all of that. But if you feel tense saying your price, that tension transfers over to the other person, even if through the pixels on the screen, like what we're doing now. You can feel my energy through the screen, and so can your potential customer or client, whether you're on a Instagram reel, a TikTok, doing a fun dance, or doing a presentation like this, a workshop. People can feel that energy through the series of tubes, if anyone remembers that reference. And then pricing confusion isn't just about being underpriced. Yes, that is a factor that can be, um, that's usually a symptom of fear. But like we talked about yesterday, these kinds of things are symptoms of a bigger underlying issue. And so that's where these leaks come in. And then when your pricing isn't clear in your own system, in like especially in like your nervous system, your sales conversations just automatically feel heavier and like dragged down like an anchor weighing down your boat or dragging down your boat. Now I'm just going to see how many of these puns I can work in here. That one was not planned. Um, so okay, exercise time. That is enough of me yapping for right now. Maybe about like 5 or so minutes. Originally, I was thinking like 7 to 10, but we don't think we need that long. And if you're watching the replay, you can just pause and take however long you want. So, what I want you to write down. Also, if you have your list handy from yesterday, we took a few moments and like what in the last 90 days, where has money come from? Keep that handy. I don't know how much you're going to use that specific list right now for this exercise, but glance at it if you have it handy. So what I want you to write down is, and I can put this in the chat as well, is I want you to write down your core offer. So what is the main service or info product that you sell? I want you to list down what the price is, and then what is the result, the main result? There could be multifaceted results, but what's like the main result that it delivers? And then why does it cost what it costs? And you can write that down. Just take a few minutes, write it out. And if you cannot clearly articulate why it costs what it costs, what a sense, clients will feel that uncertainty. So clarity will reduce the negotiation, and confusion invites it. So you'll also probably get tired of hearing me say this. The confused mind does not buy. And so we want to that's the goal, is to get to the clarity. So I am going to pause for just a few moments, give you a little time to think. Okay. See that. That gave me enough time to get water. Hopefully that gave you enough time to write down your core offer, its price, what result it delivers, and why it costs what it costs. Cara, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but if there's anything you want to share about what you wrote down, feel free to unmute and pop on, but zero obligation. Okay, I'm gonna guess it's
I
no.
actually needed
Oh,
just another minute
oh, okay.
for the results. Was trying to
Oh, I'm sorry. I did
capture that
not
in
mean
my
to
mind. That's
interrupt.
okay.
I will be here. I will look for a signal when you're done.
Okay. Okay.
Amazing. Thank you. Do you want to share anything? And if not, no worries.
I mean, sure, I can. So the number on how I had gotten to my number was semi-random in a way. It was I'm taking the what is my normal core if it's a solo session, if it's a one-off session, and then multiplying it by the number of sessions to get towards the offer if it's a 4 week session.
Mm-hmm.
And then honestly, from that, it was just kind of tweaking it of then just energetically feeling into what feels right because that actual multiplied number didn't feel like the right number.
Mm-hmm.
And then honestly, I'm adding other elements into it
Mm-hmm.
too, which if I math it out is pretty much free as a bonus. But yeah, it really all just came down to yeah, stuff that was in my own life of what worked out well as the number, like a number that just had a more significant meaning
I
for
love
me.
that. What was the part that you said ends up basically being free or bonus?
So, well, it's being having like Voxer option, that kind of thing.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. So like
Yeah,
a
because
fee.
if it's a separate, if I were to offer that as a separate program, then that's its own price point, which is not at all being factored in.
Got it. Okay. Well, that doesn't. You said it was a random way. I'm like that feels quite logical if you ask me. Like yes, you did intuit a price, right? But you started from the base of what does a single session cost. So,
Sure.
um, that, and multiplying it. And then when you are bundling services, you do tend to get like a bit of a price break on that. And so that feels good. And oftentimes it can be helpful if you position something as a bonus. So like you could position the Voxer Access as a bonus if you wanted to. Or it could just be core and you just leave it as part and not a bonus. So there's a bunch of different psychological ways you can do that. But that's great. So okay, but how does that pricing feel to you?
The pricing feels good. If I'm looking at this 4 week one, the pricing feels really good.
Okay.
If I'm looking at the 12 week one,
Hmm.
that one feels a little bit more sticky just because it's a higher number and I'm a little bit more like that's the number that you start to get choked up on a little bit. And
5K.
yeah, that's
You're right.
exactly it. Is
Yep.
5K.
Yep. Okay.
And it's just because I haven't asked that before.
Okay. Well, that's great. And this is coaching, I assume. Is that a safe assumption?
Yeah.
Okay. 12-week.
Yeah, it's the healing and coaching. Hmm.
Got it. Okay. I know that you and I have talked about some of these separately. I'm asking also on behalf of anyone
Sure.
watching the replay as well, so there's a little context. Um, in case you're like, why? We talked about this the other day. Um, okay, that's great. So, do you care to share what the pricing is for that one?
For the 12-week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I use the angel number, so that's 5,555. And
Okay.
honestly, part of the issue with it is while I love the angel numbers, it also doesn't roll off the tongue as easily
It does
as
not.
just say 5K does.
Right. Yeah.
So I love the image of it and seeing it.
Yes.
I love the meaning behind it, but at the
Yeah.
same time, there is something not quite right
Yeah.
in it. And honestly, it used to be seven. It used to be all the
Oh,
sevens. And then I
okay.
thought I would just drop it down for a bit and then, and kind of playing around with my offers
Mhm.
and see if I can get better bites that way,
Yeah.
honestly.
Mhm. Well, I mean, for a 12-week program, and of course it depends on what's included, but just knowing your coaching style, um, that feels within the realm of normal, and to be expected. Um, aren't fives, I'm pulling from my t tarot knowledge, fives in the tarot are challenges. So
Mm.
is is
You
that
know what?
true?
I don't know. That's a
Okay.
good question.
Yeah, like
I
anytime I
feel
get the
like
Five of Swords, I'm like, oh
sevens.
shit.
Oh,
I don't want that one.
I should look into that because yeah, at one it was sitting at seven, and I think I had even wanted to make it eight, but I was gonna wait. I wasn't ready for the eight yet. I was like, let's
Mm-hmm.
let's pull in some clients first before going that way,
Yeah. And
and
that's
I pulled
fair.
it downward.
Yeah.
I
I do
have played
usually
around with
recommend it.
all the numbers, honestly, except for the fours. I've done the twos, the threes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder. So where are you feeling it when you say that number? 5555 or 5,555?
Um, I think nervous just because it's not actually even about the number. It's about the uh, imposter syndrome that happens behind it
Okay.
because it's a bigger number.
Okay. All right. That's great. If you can name it, we can do something with it. So that's great. I mean, it sucks that you're feeling imposter syndrome, but like it's great that you can name it and that you're aware of it. So remind me to send you my walkthrough on the neuroscience of visibility because I talk through how to like rewire your neural pathways specifically for that. Um, if I can remember my own framework that I talked about in that video. So in short, there's like three main steps. You name it, and then you take a new action, and then you basically keep doing that new action over again. I'm butchering there were like three N words that like stacked on
Mm.
top of each other. So it's like name something and then new. It becomes a new neural pathway. I can't remember the third one. But the third one is to actually take action and to do it because that's the action is what solidifies the new neural pathway. And then it becomes a habit and then it just becomes a part of you. For pricing, in this specific case, it is simply just practice. And it is also if you're feeling more comfortable at a lower price point, run a beta version of it. So like do like a trial run, a limited offer for three people, and that's it, or like two people or one person, whatever you want. Um, and in exchange, make sure that they're willing to give you a testimonial, because that is also payment, and that helps to build your case for the next time of like it worked for this person beautifully. Here you go. And if you can get them to do a video testimonial, which yes, I will give you a video testimonial for our work together. Um, And then you can carry that forward on your next sessions and raise the price. Um, I had a mentor who never offered the same thing in the same way twice with the same price. And I've been following her for close to a decade now. I just had to do the math. I was like, wow. Um, and it is always the same like core program, but the and sometimes she like over the that time she's updated the videos and stuff like that. But the core of the program, like same transformation, stuff like that. But she has always come at it from a different angle. And it's always been so fascinating to see how she markets and to just watch how like what she does and how she changes it. And so to me, that's what an offer is. It's like this, it could be the same service, the same basic product, but how you're positioning it and how you're coming at it and telling everybody about it, that's the offer. Like that's what you're offering to people, like that configuration price. Um, so how you shake up your offer could be different every time to every segment. So like your beta people, you don't have to call it beta. I'm just using that as an example. Um, it's like, founders rate is a common, you see that a lot. I use that a lot at least. And then every time you re relaunch, if you will, or get like a new client, great opportunity to change your pricing based on what you've learned because you're probably also going to tweak your approach every single time, whether you're telling people that's what you're doing or not. Is that helpful?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So make sure I don't go down too many tangents. Um, okay. So getting into any other questions before I get back into the
Nope, go ahead.
okay.
Thank you.
So talking about so that's pricing. So I want to transition over into offer overload, which is like my toothpaste example. So funny. I wasn't planning on talking about that. It's a funny memory. I wonder what Peapod Boy is doing these days. Um, he's probably got 5 kids living in the country somewhere. I don't know. Making up a story. Anyways, offer overload. That's what I want to talk about next. So we talked about the pricing. Now we want to talk about offer overload. And it's when that's when you are giving people too many different options, like the toothpaste, too many different options to work with you. Like the toothpaste it just cleans your teeth, right? Like it keeps you from getting cavities, right? Like it does what it says on the tin, right? It's very straightforward. Um, is it super clear how you get people the transformation you're promising? Is it clear what that transformation even is? Is it clear that what the options are? How many options are there? Are there 20, like the shelf of the wall of toothpaste? Or are there like maybe 1 to 3? Because at the end of the day, most of us here are solopreneurs and we only have so much capacity in a day, so much energy, so much time, right? We are not Beyonce with a staff a mile long, right? Like we don't have that luxury of, and I don't mean that in a bad way, like she worked her ass off to get to that point, right? But we don't have that cushion around us. A lot of us don't even have personal assistants or virtual assistants or, you know, um, any sort of like freelance help in some cases. As soon as you're able to, as soon as you can comfortably afford that, I highly recommend that. And let's talk about delegating. Um, in the near future, uh, it can be such a huge help. And but a lot of us don't have that capability just yet, that capacity just yet. So we only have so much capacity to work and have brain space for so many different offers and ways to service people. Now, if we're talking about like info products, that is a little different because it's like it, I don't really believe in set it and forget it. I think that's a myth. But there is like the create it once and sell that thing versus the bespoke, tailored process every single time. At some point, you probably do want to move into some sort of program creation where you're recording yourself and recording yourself saying the same things you say a lot so that you're not doing it all the time individually for one person. And you want to have that one-on-one time with your clients be very custom and very tailored and very bespoke, all those synonyms. So it ends up being like we can do, I'm going to make up an offer spread, if you will. If you had one-off coaching where someone can buy one session, I'm just gonna stick with coaching just because it's in my brain right now. One-off coaching, and that's one boat. And then in another boat, you have a package of four, and that's one service. And then another service package is, let's say, Carrie, let's just use a 12-week course or 12-week program. Not doesn't have to be a course. 12-week program can be one-on-one. And then you have a group program, let's say, in this fourth mythical boat, and that is, let's say 12 weeks too, because it's like two different flavors, right? That's a lot of options. And at that point, if I am on, Kara, I'm not talking about you now, right? Right now, this is very general. Um, if I'm your potential customer, potential client, and I'm looking at these four options on let's say your website or social media, I like it needs to be extremely clear why I should choose any of those options. Like, am I choosing the one-off because I don't know you and I want to kind of try before I like jump all the way in? Um, and am I going to do maybe the 12-week one-on-one because I feel like my situation is super specific and I need like really specific answers? Um, or am I, and I'm also maybe shy, maybe I'm an introvert and I don't want to be in a group. Or am I okay with being in a group because I love the idea of learning from my peers and getting multiple points of view and to learn what else is happening in other people's businesses. That's the one I would go with personally, but that's me. I love me a group program because I am nosy and I do want to know what's going on out there. And also because then I can bring that all back to you, of like what's going on out there. Anyways, that's me. That's a lot of different options for somebody. If you instead only offered the one-off and the one-on-one 12-week program, like that, you got two options, and then you can have a clarity call or a whatever, however you want to name your like discover call, your sales call, your exploratory call. It's all the same thing. Um, and you can have a conversation and help someone decide which one of those is a better option, or you can have your website do that, or a video on the website in a like a VSL, video sales. I forgot the L. What does the L stand for? Anyways, um, I'm gonna have to Google that later. Anyways, it's gonna bother me. That's okay. It's the video can also do the selling for you sometimes. So if you don't want to have that, then you usually have to go to a call. Anyways, that's a long way to say that like you can have too many different ways to be working with you. You can also, if you are using anything like Calendly or Google Calendar has a scheduling tool available now, which I absolutely love. I don't love that you have to use Google Meet with it, but change the link to Zoom later. That also can have a perception of being too available, just as an FYI. So just another thing to think about of like how can it be perceived. You always want to put yourself in the buyer's journey and the like the buyer's state of mind as they're going through the process. And looking at it of like, well, her calendar is open every single day, 5 days a week. Like, I don't know. That would put a question that would throw up a flag. It's not necessarily a red flag, but that would put a question in my mind of like, damn, she's really available. Um, unless I know that she's talking about like you're going to talk to one of our representatives. It may not be me. You might be talking to our oh, I'm blanking the role. But like a BDE is what we use it in a corporate sense, but like a business development expert. Um, someone that's taking the sales calls all the time. If that's clear, then I'm like, oh damn, she's balling. She's got staff doing sales for her. Awesome, great. So think about the perception is what I'm basically saying. And then also like offer overload can also look like having too many low ticket offers. I love me a low ticket offer. Like get someone's. This is from Bushra Azar. I have to give her credit for this. I love that she. I don't know if she still says this, but the last time I was working with her, she was like, "Let someone get their toe in the door so they can get their whole ass in the house." And like I just think that's just hilarious and funny. So it's like, but yeah, that's what a low ticket offer is meant to do. Get the foot in the door, let them toe dip, and let them have an experience with you. Let's go back to our analogy of the four different offers. That one time session, so that they can get their whole ass in the house, which is the 12-week program, right? So those kind of low ticket offers are great. But then if you're also offering this course in a weekend, which is something I offer, there's if you have like a I don't know, like a 3-day something package that's video recorded with like I don't know, meditations and all this other stuff. That could be a low ticket offer. But if you're having too many things, it can become like, oh, I don't know what to choose. It's okay to focus on one as your like lead magnet into the any of the other options. But if you have all of them going at the same time and they're all on your webpage and like or on your like link tree from social media, that is just going to be way overwhelming. And we're back to the toothpaste analogy again, because it's just going to be a sea of what? Um, and then the also another indicator that you have either this is less so offer overload, but not having clarity in your own mind of what your focus is. And I still will find myself doing this and it's like, oh, I can help with that too. And for me, it's because I started as a graphic designer. I worked at a user experience agency, a user experience focused agency. So I know like buyer's journey, user's journey, all of that. And then I transitioned over to marketing and now I'm coach. And so like there's a lovely Japanese phrase. Instead of saying jack of all trades, master of none, they say I have nine knives and they're all sharp. In this particular instance, I feel more that. Like I'm like I got all these different skill sets, but that's really hard to convey in like a sales page. Um, so I focus on the marketing, right? And then also I love stuff about the brain and all of that, right? And so that's the undercurrent that y'all get. But if I lead with anything else, or if I talk about like, oh, here's my graphic design package, and here's my blah 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 package, like that's like pick one. I have to stop myself from being like, oh, you need a logo? I'll make you a logo, sure. Um, like it's nothing. Logos are like one of the hardest things in the world to do, but they're so fun. Or at least I find them fun. And that's why I'm always like, ooh, logo? Yes. No. I need to remember no. So if you can relate to that, I'm sorry, because it's really hard to like do all like to love all of these things individually and like to have boundaries around it. But it takes practice and you can do it. I believe in you. But it is a sign when you're like, oh, I want to do that too because of two reasons, either because you truly can do it or because you simply are interested in it. Oh, three, or because you fucking need the money. Like those are all signs that you might have offer overload, and need to pick a lane. Granted, there are some times in life where we do just have to fucking do the thing because we need the money. That's okay. No shame in that game. Just don't do it for too long because that is the fastest route to burnout. And also I find like those clients end up being terrible. They just ends up being not great. At least that's my experience. I hope yours is not the same. Okay, so quick exercise. We only have a couple minutes left. Sorry, I had a feeling we might not get some messaging. Sorry. So we're gonna do a little offer audit. Okay, I want you to list. This is going back similar to like the list we made yesterday, which how you've made money in the past 90 days, except this time I want you to list every way someone can pay you right now. So this is more just business specific. Yesterday it was like anywhere in life, where does money come from? In this one, it's money for your through your business right now. It's something that and then I want you to mark it with three different ways, and I'll put this in in the chat as well. What is directly responsible for the most revenue? You can use an emoji or not. What is nice? Nice money, but not necessary. And then what? You might not have one of these, but sometimes shiny object syndrome is real. And sometimes it's like I don't even know why this exists. Like this is and sometimes our businesses evolve and it's like, why is this still on my webpage? Why do I still have this thing that I haven't been doing in 2 years, let's say as an example. I'll give you just a couple minutes. Okay, and just in the interest of time, I'm just gonna move forward. So I want you to be honest at this point. If you removed everything except for the thing that you starred, which is the what is directly responsible for the most revenue, would your revenue actually suffer? Or would your focus improve? Sometimes the answer can be both. Your revenue could suffer momentarily, but your focus would improve. And then you could potentially hockey stick and have that up and to the right revenue stream that we know and love. So, a guiding principle that I want you to think through when you're looking at this list is if it does not drive repeatable revenue, if it does not support your core positioning, so your core values, your core transformation that you serve, that you create for others, or if it does not feed into your core offer, it is most likely noise and it most likely needs to go away. So a lot of times this offer overload, I said overlord again. Offer overload. There we go. It can also often, oh my God, I'm going to start the whole sentence over again. Offer overload can sometimes disguise itself as ambition. That is all I wanted to say. Um, it can look like the hustle culture really is how we get into that trap of like, oh, I'm doing all the things. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. But is it necessary? Is it actually moving the needle, right? Is it actually driving revenue? And that's not where stability doesn't come from all those things. It comes from repetition and having a repeatable process, having a um, templated it can be as simple as like templated emails, but it can also be like a templated process that you go through, frameworks, except remember them, unlike me earlier. I just hadn't revisited that in a while. And then it also comes from refinement and like tweak dialing those in and then going deep on them and doing them over and over again. So I'll leave it there. We'll get into messaging tomorrow, and then also we'll get into integration as well. Have some exercises there for you, and then we'll talk about where to go from there. I don't love leaving people hanging. Your journey does not end at the end of tomorrow. I'm going to give you a plan to go forward for the next 30 days, and then you're on your own. So. But thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope this has been enlightening and helpful and highlighted some of the key areas where you might have some leaks that you need to plug so that you do not sink your ship. I had to end on a boat metaphor. Thank you so much.